Batman, Dragon, Shiva, and Ben have to retrieve the sword before Faust can open the gate, but Batman and Ben face Cobra with his snakes and can't get away. Shiva and Dragon face Lady Eve and King Snake while Faust begins his sacrificing ceremony. So, are they gonna make it in time and stop the ceremony, or is the world gonna end tonight? Well, stick around to find out. But of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Our story begins with a man playing some poker. That was his lucky day, cause he's nailing it. He gave the waiter his empty glass and ordered another, but that waiter took off his prints and used it to get into his office. He opened the safe, got the papers, and started to take photos. The guard found him, but he was highly skilled, so he finished them off and jumped off the window, opened his parachute, and landed on a boat. That was Richard Dragon, and he kinda reminds me of Bruce Lee. We see Cobra entering the Schlangenfaust, which means in German, snake fist, and we're just gonna call him Faust. Cobra informs him someone broke into one of their buildings in France, and now he knows about the gates, so he told him, "You know what to do." In Gotham, Richard went to meet Bruce. Bruce was happy to see him and can't tell when the last time they saw each other, but Dragon told him he remembers when's the last and the first time they saw each other. Then we go to have a look into the past before Bruce became Batman. He was searching for a temple in the Himalayas to train, and when he found it, O-sensei told him he was waiting. He took him to meet his students Shiva, Ben, Jade, and there is Rib, Dragon, and now Bruce. Bruce asked Richard why he came here, so Richard told him someone has the gate and he needs Bruce's help. Bruce refused cause he's busy, but Dragon knows he keeps secrets and showed him the secret screens he keeps to watch his customers in his bar. Then we see someone breaking into the bar, so they went down to stop them. They finished some of them, Bruce disappeared, and the Batman showed up and finished the rest of them. That was the Axe Gang, and they were sent by Cobra. After that, we see Bruce with Richard in a car. Richard knew he was Batman and asked him why he wears that cape, and Bruce told him to separate between his two lives. They knew they had someone to help them and needed to retrieve the sword before they got to it, so Bruce took him and went to Shiva, who also has the sword. O-sensei was telling them about the sword, which is called the Soul Breaker. The sword represents life and death, so it must be guarded by one who chooses life, and Sensei chooses Shiva. Trib was against that decision, but Shiva managed to convince him she deserved the sword. Bruce and Dragon arrived to Shiva's headquarters, and Bruce told him she's changed, and now she's the head of the organized crime in Chinatown in Gotham. When they arrived, they found Faust's men behind them, and Cobra ordered them to finish them off. All of them started to fight while Cobra headed to the sword, took it, and ran away. Shiva tried to get it back, but his men was too many. After they finished them off, they get in the car and started a chase, but they failed to catch them cause a helicopter shows up and used a magnet to pick up the car and flew away. They have to retrieve the sword and they need all the help they can get, so Richard suggested Ben. Once, while they were having lunch with O-sensei, Jade asked him about the Forbidden Gate, so he told them it's the reason they're here and why he's here. It's the place where all destinies emerge. But that doesn't make any sense, so he told them, "Since when do I make sense?" Ben finished his lunch and needed more, but Bruce got the last meal, so Ben tried to have it by force and they started to fight. Ben literally smashed Bruce's face, but Bruce stands up every time. The others tried to make their sensei stop them, but he told them they need this. Plus, he doesn't have a TV. And that proves their sensei has a great sense of humor. When they met Ben, who was teaching karate for a living, they told him they found a gate and have the sword. So he asked they? Shiva handed him one of the swords she got from one of the assassins, and it had the Cobra's mark on it. One day, all 6 of them were talking about the gate, and in the middle of the same night, they heard screams, and when they got up, they noticed that Jade and Rib were missing. The noise was coming from the gate, so they entered the room and they found that Rib killed Jade with a sword and its color was red. Turns out that Rib is one of Cobra's men and he's here for the gate. The sword is like a key to the gate, which prisons a god, and Rib wanted to open that gate. O-sensei tried to tell him it's a demon and not a god, but he wouldn't listen. They tried to stop him, but it was too late, so when he opened it, a cobra-like creature got out and killed him and started to fight the others. Their master knew something must be done, so he entered through the gate and told them it requires a soul to open it and another to close it. So he sacrificed himself to close the gate to keep the demon in prison. The whole place started to fall, so they left, and that was the last time they saw the gate. Then we see Faust in front of the gate, and he kidnapped children to use them as a sacrifice to open it. Meanwhile, our squad was in a plane reviewing their plan. Ben told them he's been here before, and he means the island they're heading to. He told them after what happened to O-sensei, he needed to figure out some stuff. So on one of his missions, he came across Cobra's mark, so he started digging, and the more he digs, the more he finds. Finally, he found that Cobra wanted to open the gate because of their prophecy. They had someone to be a vessel for the demon behind the gate, and finally, when he found him and tried to kill him, but he was just a kid, so he couldn't do it, he went back to his home, lived his life, and forgot all about it. Bruce told them it's time to gear up, and Dragon told him they need every drop of fear, so wear up your mask cause the name of Batman can plant fear. They jumped off the plane and landed inside a cave, so they took their way to the gate. In their way, they came across Cobra, who reveals his hand, and it was made of snakes, or they are just snakes. Shiva managed to cut one of them, but his hand healed and grew in a second, and the other hand turned into a snake monster. Batman and Ben told them to continue and they'll stop him. Meanwhile, Faust was beginning his ceremony when Shiva and Dragon showed up, so he left them to his guards. Shiva faced Lady Eve, and Dragon faced the blind King Snake. All four of them were having troubles. Batman and Ben, no matter how they beat that snake, crush it, bite it, he still stands up again. Batman was gonna use his last and most powerful pepper spray. Ben told him he got an idea and used it to burn up the beast and Cobra, and strangely, he succeeded. Shiva lost her weapons, so she used more powerful ones, her hand, and she managed to kill Lady Eve. Dragon was being a sandbag, but he decided to use the fact King Snake is blind to his advantage and use some rocks as distraction and managed to finish him off. They freed the other children, meet up with Ben and Batman who freed the last children from Faust's hands. As it seems, Faust's plan has failed. The gate required a sacrifice he doesn't have. But eventually, he decided to make himself the sacrifice and killed himself. The gate is open and their sensei came out as a vessel for the demon. Luckily, the vessel was weak and the demon needs a strong vessel. They tried to finish him off, but they couldn't even touch him, and turns out that Dragon will make the perfect vessel. The demon finished him off and asked Dragon to be his vessel so he can correct the path of the world, but he refused, so the demon decided to take it by force. Luckily, Batman managed to get his attention, handed the Soulbreaker to Dragon, and he stabbed his master's body. If the body is dead, it can be used as a vessel so the demon returned once again to the gate. Ho-sensei was in his last breath, and he told his student he's proud of them and died. They noticed Batman isn't here, and he was inside the gate with the sword intending to sacrifice himself to close it. But the three of them joined him, and all of them decided there's no more sacrifices. They wanted and intended to fight and kill the demon with the Soulbreaker. And that's when the movie ends. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Thanks for watching, see you soon, and goodbye.